Alright, this is where we just left off. We found some reciprocals. Now let's go ahead and start finding the product. Product means we're multiplying things together. Now if you look here, you have an extra negative. Well, that's like having a negative 1. So we're going to multiply left to right, and we can say negative 1 times negative 3. So a negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 3 is 3. Times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Now you can also do this all at once. If you have an even number of negatives, your answer is positive. So even number of negatives, your answer is positive. If you have an odd number of negatives, your answer is going to be negative. Alright, so in this example I have an even number of negatives, so my answer is positive, or negative times a negative is a positive 30. Looking at the next problems, when we're doing these without a calculator, we would be multiplying 1.6 or 1.3 times 6. You don't have to line up the decimals when you're multiplying. You just multiply 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And you count the number of decimal places you need to move over to be 7.8. This answer, though, is a negative 7.8 because I'm doing a positive times a negative. The next one, negative times a negative. 2.5 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, the 3. 12 plus 3 is 15. Move my decimal over one spot. I get 15. It is a positive 15 because the negative times the negative is a positive. The next one, fraction. When you multiply fractions, you don't have to have common denominators. What you do need to do is just multiply the numerators together. 3 times 8 is 24. And the denominators together, 5 times 9 is 45. A negative times a positive is a negative. The next one here, I have negative 7. I'm going to make this fraction over 1 times. You cannot multiply mixed numbers. You've got to change them to improper fractions. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7 over 4. This is a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive 49. And then 1 times 4 is 4. So we get 49 over 4. The next problems that we're going to do are quotients. So we're going to be dividing. The first one, I have a negative divided by a positive, so my answer is negative. 18 divided by 6 is 3. A negative divided by a negative is a positive answer, and 36 divided by 6 is decimals. Is saying take 1.8 and divide it by 0.06. To do this by hand, we make the first number a whole number, move it over 2 decimal spots, move this one over 2 decimal spots, and bring this straight up. 6 goes into 18 3 times. It's not the answer of 3 because my decimal is clear back here. I need to fill in. 6 goes into 0 0 times. And so I get the answer of negative 30, negative divided by positive. The next one says take 3.8, divide it up by 19. Bring my decimal straight up. 2 goes in there evenly. 2 times 19 is 38. So that means everybody gets like 20 cents. So if you have $3.80, you have 19 people, everybody gets 20 cents. Negative divided by positive, though, is a negative. The next one, we're going to take our negative 11 over 16. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. That is the rule that we use when we divide fractions. So I noticed that I could say that 16 and 4 share a common factor. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 11 times 1 is 11. And 4 times 3 is 12. Remember, we're multiplying straight across. Negative times a positive is a negative. Last example on this slide says negative 14 over 1 divided by negative 7/8. Now that's an interesting problem written like this, but it looks more normal when I write it like this. So negative 14 over 1 times the reciprocal 8 over 7. Well, if I look here closely, 7 and 14 share a common factor of 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Negative times a negative is a positive answer, and so I get 2 times 8 is 16. Last little bit I want to talk about is dealing with zeros. When you multiply something by 0, you just get 0. But there's special cases for division. If 0 is on the top or it comes first, okay, your answer is 0. But if your 0 is on the bottom or comes second, your answer is undefined. It's not possible. So this one says you'd have 0 and you divide it up 18 ways. Well, that gives you 0. This says you have $3.80 and you're dividing it up 0 ways. That's not possible. You don't divide something up 0 ways. So you have undefined. Same thing with this one. This one's also undefined. 0 seconds or 0 on the bottom gives you an undefined solution.